Hey everyone, Andre here, along with Joey, Triss, and Tom to discuss Nintendo's year in review for the second half of the year, this time being July through December. So if you missed part 1, you should go check that out because we discussed everything before this point. Otherwise, now we're going to pick up where we left off at in July. So let's see where that gets us. Starting off with on July 1st, Nintendo wasting no time here with a Mario Kart Live home circuit update in which they added new courses and content as part of version 1.1.0. So this is pretty cool because this is the Mario Kart 9 everyone's been waiting for, and here you go, more content already. So yeah, this is a game, I think the game had come out the previous year, so it was neat to see an update for it, but I don't know if we even expected anything more to come of it, and as we're going to see, there's even more coming later in the year, spoilers. So does anyone here have Mario Kart Live besides me?
No, unfortunately.
Nope.
I want it. I thought about getting it for when it was on sale back around Black Friday, but I did not, unfortunately.
Right. So yeah, this it's a neat little device. It takes a little too much work to set up, but this was just the encouragement I needed to try it out again. And yeah, it was neat that they added some more courses to it. It's a fun, it's just a fun little thing, but I don't know if it's enough to really convince people to pick it up again. But I'm sure it helps because it gets it back in the headlines for a little bit, and I imagine people will probably. Some people are like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Let me go grab Mario Kart 9.
See, I'm an adult. I don't play with toys. I just talk about video games for a living.
What, they made a Metroid Dread Kart Live, Joey?
Be all over that.
Yeah.
It's like a little drone of Samus's ship.
No, it's an RCME chasing you around the house.
My god.
Oh my god. That sounds terrifying.
And it actually kills you for the immersive experience.
Well, while we're on the topic of physical hardware, on July 6th, just a few days later, we got the announcement that Nintendo was making a Switch Pro. Sort of. They announced the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which is the closest we've gotten to a Switch Pro, which isn't really all that close at all, but it does contain an upgraded chassis, I guess, if you will. I mean, it's the same internals, but get a new, bigger screen, a new OLED screen with brilliant black levels, better speakers, finally a feasible kickstand that works wonders, and we got the announcement that it'll be coming. When did it release again? October.
October.
Yeah,
Metroid
October 8th, yeah. So we'll probably have more to say about that later on, perhaps, when it actually releases. But this was a surprise, actually, because there have been rumblings forever that there was a new Switch incoming, but none of the rumors suggested something quite like this, which is more of a DS Lite type upgrade, which enhances the current form factor rather than in anything like leading to better games. The hardware itself internally has not changed at all, beyond maybe the battery. So, was anyone else really surprised by this, or?
Kind of.
I was.
It was kind of just like, oh, it's not the Switch Pro, kind of,
Right.
but it's something new. Don't know if I'm going to get it, though.
Especially with all the insiders thinking a Switch Pro is coming out, like Bloomberg, they had like reports that said like a 4K Switch Pro coming, and they were taken by surprise with the OLED.
I think part of it, the thing is, I think there might have still been merit to those original reports. One of the problems possibly, and this is just me theorizing, is the supply chain got completely destroyed in 2021 for all kinds of things, but especially computer chips.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that Nintendo had grander plans originally and scaled them back perhaps, leading to the OLED model, which again relied on the same chips as the current Switch, but they're able to now sell it at a higher price, make more of a premium off of it, in addition to selling the Switch to current Switch owners. Because I know a lot of people who've upgraded to the OLED despite having a perfectly viable Switch currently. So,
Yeah. If I played handheld more, I would feel inclined to upgrade, but the upgrade really is mostly beneficial to handheld players with that screen because it doesn't change much
entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
I'm not dying to get a Switch OLED, especially since I think, there's probably going to be a bigger upgrade sometime.
Yep.
I'd rather wait for that.
There's always a bigger fish, as they say.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. July 9th, we had the release of Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, which I know made Monster Hunter Stories fans, it made them happy. Did anyone here play it?
I did not get a chance to. It's still on my wish list. I would love to because I like RPGs and I like Monster Hunter now. So
Did anyone review it?
We did have I think we did have a review of it. TJ did not get to do it because he was busy at my wedding when we would have gotten it.
That's right.
So we have to change plans there a little bit, but
Okay.
Moving on to July 13th, we had the announcement of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, basically the Nickelodeon version of Smash Brothers, with all kinds of characters joining the roster, such as SpongeBob, of course, and it looked to be a neat, fun little game that took inspiration from Smash, and who can get enough of Smash, especially knowing that Smash is coming to an end. So luckily we had Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl to kind of pick up the slack Smash was going to leave behind.
Yeah, we're entering an era where it's going to be a bunch of different Smash clones, and they're all going to fight together to see who can be the one.
Yep. I mean, competitively, people love this game. It pulls a lot of inspiration from, like, Melee, the way it plays, I've been hearing. And I think the developers are big on competitive Smash, so they pulled a lot of inspiration into it.
Yep, absolutely. It's always fun to see other people's takes on Smash. It's actually surprising we haven't gotten more Smash games like Smash over the years, so the more Smash, the merrier. Alright, just a week after the announcement of the Switch OLED, on July 15th, we got the announcement of what you could consider almost a Switch Pro in the form of the SteamDeck. This is basically Steam's version of a Switch. It's effectively a portable PC in the form factor of a typical gaming handheld, allowing you to play what seems to be essentially your entire Steam library on the go. It is not released yet, but it's got a lot of people excited for what could be in what is effectively a super-powered Switch playing an even larger library of games, which is saying something because Switch has a ton of games, but Steam has even more.
I'm very interested to try this thing out. It looks really cool. I'm only concerned that not a lot of games are going to run super well on it, especially the newer releases, because I don't think it's using like anything that can support ray tracing or anything. Not like it needs to support ray tracing, but yeah, I don't know how powerful of a system this is going to be. So that's one of those we'll just have to wait and see things that I love to say in news videos too often. But
I still want to like hold it to determine how I feel about it, because I still look at that thing and it just doesn't look comfortable to hold.
It looks big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big. The buttons placement's weird too.
That's exactly it.
The control sticks are like right next to the buttons, and I'm like, now I'm saying that out loud. It sounds like, well, no, duh, but it's like placed not diagonally or like top to bottom. It's left and right. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Well, they have those little trackpad-like things. I mean, it's going to be a matter of, they say the controllers are more durable, which they better be because they're kind of built in. And I think storage space for me would be a big thing on that. If you have a couple of big 100 gig games in there, that's going to fill up pretty quick. But we'll see. Hopefully, I think there's been some good buzz about it, and we'll see when it actually comes out.
Yeah, when the Steam Deck was announced, there was, of course, talk of, is this going to be the Switch killer? And my thoughts on it haven't really changed. Like, I think it could very well do well for what it is, but I don't think the Switch has anything really to worry about. At the least, they'll coexist peacefully, I think. But the thing is, like, the Switch enables you to play new library games. The Steam Deck plays the same games you already have, which is awesome, but also it's not as inherently appealing for that reason. I don't think people have as much reason or will be as inclined to pick this up as they are with the Switch, which is the only way to play those games, for most of the games, or a lot of the games.
Yeah, I don't see this being any sort of Switch killer, like people try to make it out to be. I think they'll coexist, and I think this could be the start of something more interesting for ways to play PC games, but not that I don't see it being successful, but I don't see this being something to take off yet, almost like VR. I don't see it being something to completely take the internet by storm when it releases. Not right away, at least.
Yeah, I agree. They'll coexist peacefully, maybe, depending on if Steam supports it.
Yeah,
for the long time.
Could be like the Steam boxes, right?
What are those?
Even Steam doesn't know. All right, moving on to July 16th, we had another Nintendo release in the form of Skyward Sword HD. I was one who reviewed this game. I rushed through this game over the course of a few days and managed to get the review done in time, but wanted to fully replay it, and I enjoyed it. I remember the parts of the game annoyed me even more than I remembered originally. I think the sky is still a complete wasted opportunity. But I think the ending, or the game might have the best final few hours of any Zelda game in the entire series. I thought it was great. And of course, as a product itself, it basically improved upon the original in almost every way, except inarguably one being the motion controls, which I found to be a little bit worse from the Switch version, but I still played it that way primarily because I enjoyed it more than the stick controls, which also is a huge addition, though. You didn't have to use motion controls at all. You could just play using the button controls if you wanted, and some people definitely preferred it that way. Like, I think you, Joey, perhaps.
Yeah, 100% prefer it that way. I totally get the sentiment on the motion controls, too. It's just like on one hand, they're quick to recalibrate. You just press Y, Andre. Quit complaining. But
immersion breaking, Joey.
But yeah, I totally get that. But I really love Skyward Sword. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, and now I can only play the HD version from here on out. It's definitely the definitive version of the game, bar none.
Yeah,
that's been the case for all the Zelda remasters, pretty much, minus maybe the 3DS one from Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I get that.
People were iffy on Twilight Princess HD, so that art style wasn't super good. But with Skyward Sword HD, I was so happy with what they delivered, and I loved the Joy-Cons. I had to grab them if you saw me move just now. These Joy-Con are so nice. These are my favorite of the new Joy-Con.
They're so good.
They're so good, and I had to play this game with motion controls when it happened. Like, that felt like the definitive right way to play it. It was the way it was designed, and I didn't really have that much trouble with it, honestly. I feel like I don't remember if I had as much or less trouble or more trouble than back on the Wii, but I never had problems with like just constantly recalibrating, because once I got in the habit of it, it was like mindless to just reset it when needing to and just go back to it. But maybe that's just me.
I get that. It's different for everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, it totally is. Moving on, July 21st, we had the release of Pokemon Unite, which is that mobile game we mentioned earlier. Has anyone here gone into it? I know a lot of people are like really invested into it. So
I haven't played a ton of it, but it is my first MOBA, my first League of Legends like game, which is but I have really enjoyed what I've played. But everyone I played with got like really, really into it much more than I did. And it kind of got to a point where, because I got busy and the other things to take care of, I didn't fully fall into it. And I kind of pick it up every now and then when new updates hit it. But I'm hoping to eventually kind of get back to regularly playing it, because I actually have a lot of fun with it.
Nice. Yeah, I need to really try it myself, because it looks like it could be a really good time. And it's free to play, right? So
yeah. Yep, it is free to play, and it's very similar to other MOBAs like that, but it's also much easier than those. I mean, that's why TJ did the review for it, because he's very familiar with those kinds of games too. And that ended up working out very nicely, because he was able to identify why it was newcomer friendly.
Yeah, that's nice. I remember trying out the MOBA with my friends, and it's like getting yelled at by my friends alone. I mean, oh jeez.
All right. Moving on to another game that I think some might say was quite fun. On July 27th, we had the release of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which you reviewed, Triss.
Yes. And
what did you end up thinking of it?
So it was my number 2 for Game of the Year, and it was very, very close between my other one. And I loved every moment I spent with that game. I had highly anticipated it. I was excited to get a new Ace Attorney game after like 5 years, but having one with a completely new cast was really, really refreshing, far more than I expected it to be. And I really fell in love with the cast that we had in this game. All the different Sherlock Holmes references and historical references, since this was in real places, unlike what we have with the actual Ace Attorney games when you're in this weird localized version of Japan where it's half Japan, half California, and whatever. It was really, really nice to have this experience, and it reminded me what I love about the Ace Attorney games, while also giving me a new favorite.
Yeah, that's great. Well, on the day that they birthed the new favorite of Triss's, Nintendo also announced that they're killing off another favorite of Triss's, being Dr. Mario World. That's right, killing Mario once in a year wasn't enough. They had to kill him again by shutting down a mobile game that had just started a few years earlier. Apparently their least successful mobile game, and they announced they had to be shutting down within a few months. Did this make you sad, Triss?
I was actually pretty disappointed about this. I was not like I wasn't like keeping up with this game with every update. I think they had like 30 worlds in the end.
Yeah, a lot of updates.
I was like maybe at World 10 because that game got hard. It was challenging. But the news of this dying down, ironically enough, breathed a lot of life into the game again. Because it was a while where multiplayer wasn't super active and people were kind of dropping in and out of the game. but I'm pretty sure announcing that it was dying, I'm pretty sure that was the biggest spike in players this game got since it had released. Because there were a lot of people playing it again. I think I progressed another 2 worlds during that time. It made me want to go back and get as much out of it as I could before it went away. Kind of like, as we talked about in the last video, Mario Bros. 35 being a limited time game.
Right.
So...
Careful what you say there, Tris. Video games are going to become like furniture stores that are going out of business.
No.
Everything must go.
Constantly, yeah, just a perpetual state of going out of business.
and I'm sure we can touch upon it more when we actually touch upon when it actually did shut down, because I think at this point it was for like 2 or 3 months away from that point. So they gave it a little bit of a leeway. But the problem with it dying, and we even did a whole little video on this, it kind of spells out the fate of all of Nintendo's mobile games that all operate on the same kind of system. They'll probably eventually meet the same fate of eventually being shut down and you having a little memories page that's it.
Yeah, a little memorial for the game. Yeah, there's no way to revisit these games. There's no offline functionality they offered, which I think would be a better way of handling it. So any investments they made into the game are gone. They wiped it out. One nice thing was, I guess, that they prevented people from buying more into the game once they announced it was ending. But, it could be argued, is that enough advance notice? Like, someone who invested the day before might be a little annoyed that their investment is worthless in a few months. So, it is unfortunate that this is kind of showing the roadmap of Nintendo's mobile games where, you can't play them after that point. And is that going to be the same fate for Super Mario Run 2? Or Super Mario Run also, I should say, which I hope not, because that's actually a really good game. So, and it doesn't even need to be online, despite it checking in online.
They all check online, sadly. But yeah,
I want to buy that game, but I don't at the same time.
It's my favorite new Super Mario Brothers game. Take that for what you will.
Dang, it's not saying much.
It's saying nothing, but still enjoyed it. All right, moving into August, we had, on August 5th, we had the first major update for Mario Golf Super Rush, adding Toadette, New Donk City as a course, and ranked online. So this was a pretty solid update. I think we knew New Donk City was already coming. I think they announced at E3, as I recall. But it was still great to have a new course and a new character. Unfortunately, the new course, for better or worse, wasn't made for the game. Like they literally just took the existing map and added holes to it, which is fun, but it's not great. I would say I think I would prefer them making a new course inspired by New Donk City.
Yeah,
but it was still good to have new content, especially for free. So
it's a difficult map in Speed Golf.
It's tough. every course, every hole's a par 3, as I recall too, right? Because they're all very narrow shots that you have to try and make and land on the green without going off the rooftop or something.
Yep. There's been some really fun trick shots people have put online too in the New Donk City map because of just how compact it all is and all the different skyscrapers and bouncing the ball around. There's a lot you could do. It's actually really fun.
Yep. Yeah, it was good to see the game get more support, and we'll have more to say about that soon enough. On August 10th, it was announced that Joey, can you pronounce the name for me? Because
Idris Elba.
Thank you. Announced as the voice of Knuckles for Sonic Movie 2.
Oh man, I wish I said Knuckles because that would have been the name you were trying to pronounce. But I remember when this was announced, it just popped up on my Twitter page. Idris Elba tweeting "knock knock" in the photo of Knuckles, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
The madmen are actually doing it. And then I posted it in the news chat, and I'm like, thumbnail, now, I'm doing this update.
Yep. I think I did the thumbnail, too. I had the red Idris Elba with the Knuckles on his shirt.
That was so good.
I lucked into finding him in a red shirt. I'm like, I'm using that. That's perfect.
So good.
Yeah, this was a huge announcement. It's some of the first, solid news we had on the Sonic Movie 2 outside of some movie set leaks. We already knew Knuckles was going to be in the movie from those, I believe.
Yes.
But it was still awesome to see that that they're supporting it with a well-known, famous voice, a voice that I think some might say is, especially now that we've heard it in the trailer, I think, right?
Yep.
Is perfect for the character.
Yes.
Very fitting. And yeah, it was just fun. It was just a fun announcement to have. It's like, oh, cool. They were taking it very seriously, as we expected they would, based on the success of the first movie.
Yep. We've been hearing rumors about Jason Momoa, even The Rock, I think. But no, right. Idris Elba is just I love watching the trailer just to hear him say that one line because he does it so good.
I immediately, after this announcement, started mashing together videos of or audio of him talking combined with video of Knuckles in the games or or the Sonic cartoons. And yeah, it was for like a little preview of what to expect. And it wasn't quite right on based on the movie, but it was still pretty. It
was fun.
Great, so yeah, it was fun. All right, on August 11th, the following day, we had an indie world, and it featured games like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Toem, which is a game Tom ended up reviewing, Loop Hero, Garden Story, Boyfriend Dungeon, Axiom Verge 2, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, Tetris Effect Connected, Slime Rancher, Portable Edition, and Eastward. And I should clarify, Tetris Effect Connected coming to Nintendo Switch. It had already been out, I think, on other platforms.
Yep.
So that's a very solid indie world.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now that some of these games have come out, and we've been able to play them, and like, yeah, they're good.
That's a huge indie world.
Yeah.
I still need to play most of these games. I played Eastward. I haven't touched it after the live stream I did for it, though. I need to get back into that. It was a pretty good story, but Axiom Verge 2 I've also played.
Yeah, you did that on stream, as I recall.
I streamed a lot of these games, but, I need to play Loop Hero. I bought that on Steam, actually. I still haven't touched it, because my friend just loves Loop Hero, so I promised to support the game for him.
Nice. So, yeah, solid outing. Always good to see indie worlds that have a lot of appeal in them, and that one seemed to have nailed it. And seeing Tetris Effect there was a nice little surprise, too. So.
Yeah.
And you ended up reviewing that, Tris, right? So
yeah.
Oh, I guess, though, do we have the release date on here or no?
I don't have the release down here, but it was in September.
It came out the same...
Okay,
was it in September? I thought it was October when that game came out.
Oh, it was October. Yeah.
Came out the same day as Dread.
Yeah, after the OLED.
Yeah, it did come out the same day.
Oh, yeah, and the OLED, right, that's
yes.
right.
What a great game to play on your OLED. If only I had
Yeah,
OLED.
it looks brilliant. All right, August 18th, we had another Pokemon Presents, this time featuring Pokemon Unite Mobile, the 5th anniversary of Pokemon Go, and new trailers and more in-depth looks at Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and of course, Pokemon Legends Arceus as well, which is the game I'm really excited for. And this gave me more reason to be, because they showed off some major new features of it, actually a lot of new features for it, and it really helped flesh out our understanding of that game.
This was a huge Pokemon Presents because we had like 10 minutes of in-depth detail on each. So this whole thing was like 27 minutes long or something like that. And you had like 7 minutes or whatever, and then you had like 10 minutes of Diamond and Pearl, 10 minutes of Legends. It was a lot to go through from all this. It was really, really neat though.
Yeah, there was a lot to go through. That was a very impactful Pokemon Presents, which they haven't always all been that way. So it's nice to see. All right. August 25th, we had what might seem to be a small announcement at first, but it's kind of a big one, being Kamek coming to Mario Kart Tour. The reason this is big news is because this is the first time he's ever been playable in the series, and it's even more meaningful because he was originally announced to be playable, or originally shown to be playable, in Mario Kart 64, back then known as Mario Kart R, in early pre-release shots of it, and that never ended up coming to be. I think he was replaced by Wario in the final game.
Yep.
So finally, after all this time, Kamek has a chance to be played as in Mario Kart Tour at the least. The closest I think he got before this was where you could ride him around in Mario Kart Wii. I think he was a bicycle, as I recall.
The closest otherwise was he was cut in Mario Kart 8. His emblem is in the game, is unused. Right. People found. So he was planned for Mario Kart 8 but didn't get added. So Kamek finally here in Mario Kart Tour was also the first original character added to the game in like a year. Because we had Cat Peach earlier in like February when 3D World released, I guess. But otherwise, we hadn't had a new character added to the tour like that since King Babam was added the previous summer. So this was a huge deal, but really exciting too.
Isn't Dixie in the game now too?
Yep, Dixie Kong and Funky Kong were both added back in 2020, but yeah.
Right, nice. Yeah, so that's cool, and I know you're a big fan of Mario Kart Live, Tris, so...
Yeah, I still play Mario Kart Tour daily.
Mario Kart Tour, yeah.
I still go through that game daily. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm still hoping they do like more content with it, and I every like week I'm like afraid after what they did to Dr. Mario. I'm like, I know this game's successful, but in the back of my head I keep thinking, what if they announce this next tour will be the last one? And I'm like afraid of that happening.
We gotta get you streaming before that happens, Tris.
It's true.
All right, August 27th, we had the release of No More Heroes 3, a long-anticipated game that had originally, I think... No, this wasn't the one that they... No, this was announced after the release of
Travis.
What was the spin-off game?
Travis Strikes
Again.
Travis Strikes Again. Yeah.
Yeah, this was wasn't that teased in the game even, or am I misremembering?
So Travis Strikes Again totally teased No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
So yeah, they were totally like, "Yep, let's get this game going," and it was a good game. I reviewed it. I forgot what score I gave it. I think it was liked it or liked it a lot, somewhere along those lines. But this game was totally the best No More Heroes game that I've played.
Wow.
I played them back to back to back to really understand what the series is all about. And yeah, this game was absolutely nuts. The combat was extremely fun. The story was just the zany Suda51 story that you'd come to expect. And it's not the most polished game, not one bit. That open world is choppy as heck, but it makes up for it with the really awesome combat and those insane bosses. Were just they were funny. They looked weird. There's a game of musical chairs from one of the bosses. Yeah.
If it were polished, would it even be a Suda51 game at that point?
No.
I think it's part of the charm. I think that's all part of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of new games, on September 2nd, we're moving into September now. On September 2nd, we had the out of nowhere announcement of Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, which is kind of like a party game take on Big Brain Academy, a game that I think was previously made for DS and Wii,
Yep.
I think. And so there's a big gap between them since. And here we go, another new game returning to Switch. And I'm sure we'll have more to say that on its release, which is coming up in a couple of months. Again, in this video, not in real time. Next, we had on September 9th the announcement of the LEGO Question Block. And when would this eventually release? It was shortly after, right?
Just a month later in October.
Okay. And that's on here?
Yep.
I take it on the list? Okay, perfect. So we'll get to that soon too. Looked awesome from the get-go. Took a bunch of Mario 64 levels, put it all inside a giant question block, and that was sick. That looked cool. September 10th, we had the release of a new game being WarioWare Get It Together, which I think I was the one who reviewed this, and I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a really solid game. I was initially concerned the more platforming take on WarioWare went into making it feel a little samey, but with the eclectic cast of characters, each one controlling completely differently, and the constant minigame switching it up, I didn't find that to be a problem. I had a lot of fun with it, and I just wish I had an online mode so you can actually play this with friends, which is hard to do during a pandemic otherwise.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, I played the demo of it. I didn't get the final release, but yeah, it was really fun. I really liked it. It's no Wario Land Shaken though.
What can be?
With the
demo was surprisingly fleshed out too. By the way,
Yeah.
it gave you an overall good look at the game. I thought.
By the way, I meant WarioWare smooth moves before you finish typing that comment.
Oh, that's very different.
Very different.
I don't think anyone would take an issue though with the shake it. So it didn't. The comparison didn't make sense, but I was going with it.
It
Anyway.
makes sense, right?
Don't twist it, hit its comments.
Oh yeah, I was playing that recently on the Analogue Pocket. Still great. So. All right, moving on to September 14th. Game of the Year, Cruis'n Blast released. Okay, maybe not quite Game of the Year. Close though. I loved this game. I thought it was super fun. Actually, I think I liked it a lot. It's a little shallow, a little repetitive, but I thought it was great. Super fun. Some big set pieces that are super impressive. And it was just neat seeing Cruis'n Blast return, or seeing Cruis'n series return to a Nintendo console after all these years. But we had not seen that since the 60, or really since the 64. There was a Wii version, but that was a rebranded Fast and Furious game from the arcades, though that was also based on Cruis'n. So Cruis'n has a bit of a weird history here. But Cruis'n Blast was made by the original developers. Awesome to see on Switch. It was super fun. So
I love the story of talking to Eugene Jarvis, the creator of the series. And he's like, he had to call Nintendo. It's like, hey, because they had the rights. Like, can I make another Cruis'n game? It's like, oh yeah, go ahead. You're now a Switch developer.
That's awesome. Yeah, the story of how that game came to be was that during the pandemic, because obviously people weren't going to the arcades, they decided to switch focus a little bit and focus on the home console space, which is how Cruis'n Blast port came to be. And it's not just a port; it's like they added a ton of content.
Yep.
And that's actually pretty cool. That's a smart way of adapting your business model for a very different time right now. So hopefully, I would love if we see more of that. Not pandemics, but more home releases of arcade games.
I also loved his attitude. It's like, were you worried when you heard about the news about this? It's like, oh, well, in the arcade industry, we've already died so many times. Like, we weren't fazed by it.
Yep.
It's true. If you can survive through like the early 2000s, I think you can survive anything for arcades. I mean, on the same day, again, it'd be September 14th, we had Bluetooth audio coming to Nintendo Switch finally as part of the 13.0 update. People have been asking for this for literally 4 years at this point, and we finally happened. Has anyone had a chance to take advantage of this feature? Or?
I tried it. The audio lag is just too much for me.
Yeah, there's a bit of delay, and
yeah.
I don't know if that's a Switch issue or just inherent to how Bluetooth audio works. Because like even my phone like gets desynced occasionally, but the thing is, if there is a delay, the phone can compensate for it with videos. You can't do that with a game. You can't compensate for the delay.
Yeah.
And it's noticeable enough that it almost makes it unplayable with the Bluetooth audio in my experience.
Yeah,
so.
it's a bummer, really. But give it another 4 years, maybe we'll get Netflix on the Switch.
Maybe. To be fair, I do think it might vary depending on the device. I think some other people I've heard had zero issues with it, so I don't know if they noticed it or the delay is less, but it might depend on which Bluetooth headphones you're using. So I myself was using the Pixel Buds.
So was I.
So maybe,
and I was using the Xbox headset. I get delay on both of them.
I see. Yeah, at least the feature's there, so that is nice, and it doesn't matter if you're watching YouTube or other things on it, or like Crunchyroll or whatever else you can access. Everything but Netflix now, basically. So, all right, September 23rd, we had another Nintendo Direct. This time featuring Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC revealed for the game. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, the second DLC pack shown off. It was announced that we're getting a Sakurai Presents in October. Then that wasn't the final one at this point, or was it?
That was the final one.
Was it? That was the final one. Okay, Final Sakurai Presents coming up in October. Kirby in the Forgotten Land was revealed. Yes, finally a 3D Kirby game. Looked amazing. I can't wait for that to come up. Yeah, we haven't seen anything more of it since, so that's an amazing announcement to finally have. We got the announcement that there will be an Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct in October, so that's a big deal because the game had effectively been without a big update for I think a year now.
Yeah.
So that gave us our first hint that there's some big content coming. And they even teased, I think, Brewster coming to the game at this point.
Bigger than the Smash reveal, in my opinion.
Yeah, arguably. Then we had the Mario Golf. We had the announcement of there being another Mario Golf Super Rush update with a Ninja being added to the game along with Koopa Troopa. Then they announced the very divisive expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch Online service featuring Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games coming to the service at the cost of $50 per year. That's a total cost, not $50 more than what you're already paying.
The price wasn't revealed right away.
Oh, right, it wasn't announced yet.
So it wasn't divisive yet. People were cautious. They're not telling us the price. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, that's some bad news coming in then. But in even bigger news, we got the announcement of the Mario movies cast with Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and Charles Martinet as a bunch of other characters who aren't Mario. What a wild announcement. I have not been that blown away, for better or worse, by anything in some time. That just hit us out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this cast?
I really liked that they did this in a Nintendo Direct as well, because traditionally Nintendo Directs are like only the info on the games and only that. But with 2020 ending with the Super Nintendo World Direct, with just Miyamoto walking around showing off the park, I like that they're starting to use Nintendo Directs to announce other things and talk about more than just the games. So this was nice, as wild as it was.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't expecting it, especially when it comes to movies. Like, we thought that might be a movie studio handled thing. Yep. Is Nintendo going to reveal it themselves? But sure enough, they did. And that cast, I mean, I just can't stress how wild that cast is. Like the fact that we've kind of come to grips with it a little bit now. But
nuts,
thoughts, Joey?
Oh my gosh, that's all I was going to say. Nothing else.
Yeah,
my goodness.
I now that I've had a few months to process it, I mean, it's a very impressive cast. And I think most of them actually make a lot of sense. I think the biggest question mark, or question block, if you will, is on Chris Pratt as Mario. Yeah. Like, he's since announced that he's not using his normal voice for it. So I just gotta know, What did that sound like? What is his Mario?
He's not going to have an Italian accent, though, I don't think. So, like, I don't...
He's going to have a thick Brooklyn accent. He's going to sound like the cartoon.
I hope so. I actually hope so. Like, I love the Mario voice in the cartoons. Like, I was fine with them, and they had a Brooklyn voice for that. But I think to completely specify, and I could be wrong, I believe they said he's not going to have the same Italian voice that Mario has normally. So it could still be Italian, just maybe a different take on it, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe they just a new accent. I don't remember, to be honest. But in any case, I'm very curious to see what that's going to sound like, especially with Charlie Day as Luigi. Like, is he going to have an Italian accent? Or are we going to have like half?
Charlie Day's Italian, just saying.
I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait though. I'm actually even more excited now for the movie regardless. I mean, even putting aside the oddness of some of those, the seemingly oddness of some of the actors being put here, putting that aside, this is a huge cast. This is a huge all-stars cast, which has me super excited. Like, they're taking this movie very seriously, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has like one of the biggest budgets that Illumination's ever worked with.
Oh, probably.
So, I don't know if we have budget information yet, but it seems like based on this, it might. So.
Well, Illumination usually puts out movies for way cheaper. Like, that's why their animation style's just like not that great.
At least compared to Pixar or DreamWorks, it
That's
falls
true.
a little short. Though I think the Sing movies look pretty good. I think visually.
Yeah, they kind of do. Yeah, but I have a feeling like they're really taking their sweet time with this one for good reason, because they need to get it right.
I think it was here too that we found out it was releasing in holiday of 2022, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically exactly a year from where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And oh my god, that's awesome. I'm a big movie fan. I've wanted the Mario movie, an actual Mario movie, ever since the original Mario movie. So I am so hyped for this. I really hope we get to do go to the press review screenings for it, because I'm all over this.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. All right, beyond the Mario movie news, we also got a story trailer for Splatoon 3 called Return of the Mammalians, which looked very intriguing. It was our first proper good look at the story mode trailer, and it made me intrigued to see more of it in the final thing.
Yeah.
Tress, you did the analysis for it, right?
Yeah. No, it looks really interesting, and the Splatoon story and levels are always kind of wacky and weird, and this looks right up that alley. So it seems like it's going to be pretty fun.
Excellent. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm very much looking forward to that game. So we'll have more to talk about that, I'm sure, in our 2022 discussion. But the trailer, the Nintendo Direct, ended off with what might be the biggest news of all, which is saying something considering what we just touched on. Bayonetta 3, still a real game, got a proper reveal for it, actual first trailer, first look at it. Looks amazing.
Finally.
And this was a game that was announced 4 years ago, I think?
Game Awards 2017.
Yeah, amazing.
Finally, my goodness. I think this was like the direct where a lot of people gave up hope on seeing this game, so of course it happened.
Yeah.
Because they finally showed us a trailer, and it looks really good. The game looks amazing. It looks like it's using concepts from the canceled game Scalebound, which is awesome.
That's great.
It just looks fantastic.
There were rumors that Scalebound was going to come to Switch in some form, so I wonder if this is, which didn't end up being true, obviously. But I wonder if some of the wires got crossed, and that's what ended up happening here.
Most likely, yes. It looks like it looks like a massive experience, just maybe because of those massive demons you can control now.
Maybe.
And it was
looks fun.
Back in E3, I believe Bill Trinan said, it's progressing well as a way to kind of relieve some pressure off people bugging Kamiya, maybe. So it's nice not to have to wait too long after that to actually see it, compared to the game's development.
Yeah, I mean, we did have multiple updates over the years, being like, oh yeah, progress is going well on it, but it's like we didn't see anything, so like, is it really?
Yeah, if you can call them updates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were the most nothing of things. It was just that, the game's we're still making it, so hold on to your horses.
Yep.
All right, September 28th. We got the announcement that Super Nintendo World is getting a Donkey Kong expansion. Now, if you've been following Super Nintendo World news at all, including on our channel, this actually isn't news to you at all. This has been planned essentially from the get-go. It was in the early models, early concept art. There have been patents before of how this roller coaster is going to work. It is a minecart. It seems to be a minecart-themed coaster. They didn't talk. I don't think they got into specifics in the in the announcement, to what I remember. But yeah, we've seen full models of this. There's even a gate at Super Nintendo World in Japan that very clearly leads to a future expansion. So yeah, not a surprise, but it was nice nice to have it officially confirmed, especially with, given the pandemic, there was always a chance that they canceled it.
Yep.
You know, like maybe they just wouldn't build it. So the fact that they announced it was coming, and do we have an opening date for it announced here?
I think they
Tris,
said
or?
2024.
Okay, I think that sounds about right. In Japan, at least. So, yeah, cool to see. And it's interesting because Donkey Kong has been getting more focus recently. Between the Mario movie, this, and something else, I think. Is the other thing on here, Tris? The other Donkey Kong related news?
No, I don't think so. If it's what
Oh, not the Donkey Kong movie? That was a rumor, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think those were the
Yeah, it's a rumor, so it may not be on here.
Yeah.
We'll mention it now then. The fact that Donkey Kong is seemingly getting a movie, his own movie as well, beyond the Mario movie. Donkey Kong's been getting a lot of attention, so makes me wonder what's coming up. Any thoughts of Donkey Kong Land, everyone?
I mean,
Or-
I hope Seth Rogen voices him in the park.
I didn't think about that.
in the Hollywood version, he will. No,
Of course.
I think it's really nice that Super Nintendo World is getting more, and whether it ends with Donkey Kong or we get more beyond that, I think it's great that that it already proved successful enough to be getting more.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like in Japan, I went to the Harry Potter land there. Like that's really small, and I think the Super Nintendo World is kind of smaller. So to get a bit more, it's nice to see it because otherwise that'd be a very quick experience probably.
I really hope this isn't it, though. I really hope that there is more. Like, I hope that they plan future expansions, whether at, Universal's Orlando parks, wherever. I don't care. I'll go wherever it is. I just want a Zelda Land.
Yeah.
Give me Zelda Land, darn it.
Give me Hyrule.
Yeah, they can't.
There's so much
I hate that they call it Super Nintendo World because it's Super Mario World. Let's be
It
real.
is.
Yep.
The only,
Featuring
Donkey
Pikmin.
Kong. Yeah, Pikmin, that's it. I was gonna say Pikmin is the only definitively non-Mario thing there. But even that, Pikmin appeared in Mario Golf Super Toadstool Tour. So
Yep.
even that
That sounds like a very cool bit, Andre.
Yes, it does. All right, let's move into October. October 1st, the Lego question block released, which Tris is reaching for right now.
Yes, I am. If it'll actually show up.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah, this thing's really cool.
It is. My roommate has one too.
I had a lot of fun building this. I'm not gonna fully open it now, but I had a lot of fun building this. I haven't worked with Legos in years, but this is one of the most fun I've had with this kind of stuff. And I really wasn't interested in most of the Mario Legos because you're not really building anything. You're building a small platforming level to play with Mario. I wanted something to build to display. This thing's so cool. Definitely worth the money that I put in to get it.
Yeah, it's a lot of money
It's
too, right?
expensive. It was like $150, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun to put together over the course of a weekend.
It is a great showpiece. I love how the different Mario 64 levels pop out of it. There's tons of little details and Easter eggs in them. The attention to detail is really great.
Yeah.
And it's really nostalgic for someone like me who grew up with the game. So it's probably my favorite of the Nintendo things they've released. Though the NES gets close too. That's pretty cool. All right. October 5th, everyone, big day! We had Sakurai presents a final DLC fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We had no idea who this was going to be, although I did actually predict it before, surprisingly. It was Sora. Sora came to Smash Bros. After years of people asking for this. Finally happened, against all odds, seemingly. We got Sora. I don't even care about Sora, and I was excited for this, because this is huge. Yeah.
The true winner of the Smash ballot. The true winner of the Smash ballot, which I did not expect them to tell us that. Yeah.
What's great too is I think Sakurai provided the logic for it, where they worded the original announcement in such a way of Bayonetta winning, where if you look back, they didn't actually say that Bayonetta was the top choice.
No, they didn't.
I think. Yeah, which no one figured out, amazingly, so that's great. Or we just forgot about, who knows?
Well, I think they said Bayonetta was maybe the number 3rd most requested character in the United States. I'm not sure.
I think it was she was in the top 10 in Europe. And I think she was the most realizable character they could work on.
Right.
Yeah, because Disney was like, no, not until you give us money. I don't know how exactly that worked, but it's like, hey, the Mickey Mouse shape is on the Keyblade. There's no way they couldn't have given a pretty penny.
Yeah. So that was an awesome way of ending the Smash Bros. DLC and Smash Bros. Ultimate as well. The game is effectively done and over with, and it's hard to imagine many better ways that they could have ended it than with Sora. It's something that few expected and made a ton of people happy. So
Yeah, especially
ended it. What was that, Tom?
I was gonna say, especially loving the trailer, how they made all the characters like into the little statue forms briefly too. I love that touch.
That was very nice.
They could have ended it with Waluigi, would have been better, but you know.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, well, as part of this whole thing, as part of Sora coming to Smash and the DLC ending, on the same day, hashtag Thank You Sakurai was trending on Twitter with tons of people, tons of fans, tons of developers, all expressing their accolades and thankfulness to Sakurai for making what many would consider to be the ultimate, not just Smash game, but perhaps the ultimate game. And that was fun to see. We did a whole video like summarizing some of the larger thank yous that were trending. But yeah, that was just kind of amazing to see, like, that level of positivity, especially out of the Smash community, which it's not always known for.
Yes, that's part of why I really wanted to highlight that. That was so wholesome to see, and really, really nice. And Sakurai and the developers that put all this time into Ultimate really deserved that positivity.
Yeah, it was great to see something kind of bring everyone together for once, in the gaming industry.
For once, yeah.
That never happens.
For once. Yep, never happened again. That was the one and only chance we had, so hope you all enjoyed that day. It's back to the hell that's everyday life afterward. All right, but for those who may have been depressed about Smash Brothers coming to an end, luckily, on the same day, being, again, October 5th, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl released. What timing? Like, was this timed to be that way? Like, that's smart. That's pretty smart.
Somebody theorized that Nintendo planned the Smash Bros. Ultimate Sakurai Presents, or the final character reveal, on the same day as Nickelodeon to just screw him. I don't know.
Because they've done this kind of thing before. The shadow drop date of Kirby Fighters 2 back in 2020 was the same day Rivals of Aether came to Switch. So it sounds.
There's no way Kirby Fighters 2 though was
no,
like that.
But you could. I mean, that's also another platform fighter. It's a matter of it comes across a little suspicious that Nintendo's done this multiple times now for big platform fighters coming to Switch that people are excited for.
Yeah, I would imagine it's more coincidental.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be pretty spiteful if that actually were the case. But I don't think that if I were Nintendo, I wouldn't consider Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl to be not to comment on the game itself's quality, but I wouldn't think of it as major competition to Smash Brothers, especially when you're adding Sora. So
okay, but Nickelodeon's adding Garfield on.
They added Garfield. He's in now.
Already added Garfield. Okay, well, what am I doing? Why am I playing this game?
Well, with this, I could have just been trying to, release the game at a time, release the final DLC at a time frame, like before the Nickelodeon one came out, just to kind of pass the torch on that way. And it could have just been the soonest they could have released it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just more that I think Nintendo doesn't really care what's happening outside of their own sphere, so except in rare cases. So I think the timing just kind of ended up being that way, and it may have actually benefited Nickelodeon. Maybe like there's a Halo effect where not the game Halo. There we go. All right, this was a busy day apparently because on the same day, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania also released, with itself being a throwback to the classic Super Monkey Ball games, basically effectively being a remake of the deluxe version, I believe, with updated graphics, updated physics, the return of all the classic modes like Monkey Fight, Monkey Target, all the sports games, and you reviewed this one, Tris, right?
Yes, this was a lot of fun, but oh my gosh, is it challenging.
Very. Tough. Monkey Ball games aren't, they're not a game, if you're the type to throw your controller, definitely don't play Monkey Ball.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but it was fun to see it come back as one who was there for the original GameCube launch of it. It's a game that I have fond memories of, and it was fun revisiting it in some capacity. So, All right, a few days later, on October 8th, we had the release of a tiny little game that you may have heard of called Metroid Dread. Yeah, there we go. Yes, Metroid Dread released alongside the Switch OLED. Two big things from Nintendo on the same day. The OLED even has like a Metroid-like control scheme, so smart tie-in there. So Joey, I know you were really disappointed by this game, so tell us how crushing.
My soul is hurt. Metroid is now canceled in my heart. No, but really, I loved this game. I gave it a review of loved it. I didn't give it the highest possible rating, which was mind-blowing, because this game doesn't really do anything super different. but it reminds us why we love Metroid and the Metroidvania genre to begin with. The game is just masterfully crafted. Samus controls super well to the point where it's going to be hard to play other 2D Metroid games from here on out, the older 2D ones where she can't slide, she can't kick things in the air. The bosses...
It's the Halo Infinite effect.
Exactly.
Where you have to make the previous ones unplayable.
Exactly. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
And the bosses were all really good. Visually, they were kind of lacking, but the design-wise, just so great. We haven't had like games designed like this in such a long time, let alone like fully priced 2D Metroidvanias. And it just... Metroid Dread came out and it reminded everyone why Metroid is king, or should I say queen, in this field. Is just bar none my favorite game of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. And I mean, I remember leading up to this release, I went to the preview event for it out in New York, and that was really my first time like really experiencing it. And in the hour or so I got to play with them, like, wait, this is really fun. And I got the game day one, and I put a lot of time into it, and I also really ended up loving Metroid Dread. The movement is so smooth and so responsive and just feels great. And the gameplay is just so rewarding, especially with how challenging the game is. It's just really rewarding.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see Metroid be relevant again.
Yeah.
Like seeing people excited and talking about Metroid. It'd been a while, and that's kind of what I think that will benefit to Metroid Prime 4 as well, whenever the hell that releases, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in our 2022 discussion. Yep. So, and it was pretty cool Nintendo to release it alongside the Switch OLED, being the new hardware we touched on a little bit earlier. So probably not a whole lot more to say, but Metroid Dread does look great on it, I can assure you. So it's kind of neat that people were able to experience Metroid Dread, this brand new Metroid game in the best possible form on the OLED. So
yeah.
On the same day, the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Remastered was announced. And, of course, it wouldn't be long after until we found out how broken it actually was.
Yep, that's a game.
Yep. It was announced for Switch alongside the other platforms, and I streamed it when it came out, but maybe we'll touch on that when it actually releases. So
yeah, I streamed it.
All right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we both had streams. Yeah, we had multiple streams for. There's a lot of GTA there, so a lot to get through.
The release dates were just a mess.
Yeah. October 15th, so not too long later, about a week later, we got the Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct, the version 2.0 update, which featured Brewster, merchants on Harz Island, the addition of food and cooking in the game, along with the paid expansion, or free in a way if you had the expansion pack, being the Happy Home Paradise expansion, which is basically an updated version of Happy Home Designer on the 3DS, and it all looked pretty darn cool. This was the update people had been waiting for Animal Crossing for a while. This is the update we needed to bring people back to the game and get them playing again and invested. And it adds a ton, and it's awesome that almost all of it was free, minus the Happy Home Paradise portion.
Yeah, this was an incredible update. Even this, just the free stuff from version 2.0 was fantastic. These are the things that people have been wanting added to the game since the game came out. Some may say it was too late and they didn't want to go back to it, but it seemed like it brought a lot of people back, and that's fantastic.
Could you bring me back?
Which is
not
fair.
yet. Maybe one day.
The Happy Home Paradise is what brought me back personally. I've really enjoyed that. I was very excited seeing that get announced because I loved Happy Home Designer on the 3DS. So getting that whole expansion to New Horizons was very exciting. It wasn't out at this point. They had just announced it for release a few weeks later in November, but yeah.
So what kind of tempered the excitement for some people, though, was that we also got the pricing of the expansion pack here, which again is about $30 more per year if you pay it for, or you can only pay it for a year in advance. So $50 in total, counting the base cost of the expansion. And that made a lot of people very upset. I think it was higher than a lot of people were expecting, and that caused an uproar on social media, with a lot of people being just very annoyed at Nintendo charging for the 64, Genesis, and the Animal Crossing expansion in this way.
That's kind of sneaky, really.
It is really pricey, honestly. especially for what's there now. I think if we look at it again in like 2 years, maybe, and if they keep adding, because the implication was they're going to keep adding to it, not just the games for NSO, but they'll probably also add, like Animal Crossing, other DLC expansions as part of this. And I
That's
think,
a hope, yeah.
I hope. I still feel like it'd be weird if it was just Animal Crossing, but I think over time it'll make that much more worth the price. But to start off, that definitely caused some not unwarranted outrage.
Yep, I understand completely.
People didn't even know that the online was going to have issues at this point.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why some would be annoyed with the price. I felt some of the outrage was a little overplayed, though.
A little bit of
like,
that's the internet, but yeah.
It's totally inherently the internet. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it's all optional. Like, you don't have to buy it. The Animal Crossing expansion, you can pay for it separate. And if you are looking forward to the Animal Crossing expansion, though, or if you were, then that actually wasn't a bad way of going about it, unless you were intending to play it for more than a year.
Yeah.
Then in which case, I could see the value proposition come up again. But yeah, and I get why people wouldn't want to pay for old games, but then don't. It's like it didn't exist before. Were you angry then that it didn't exist? So I don't know. But in any case, people forgot very quickly about all this, because just 3 days later, Sora actually officially came to Smash Bros. Ultimate after being announced, which just dominated social media. Just everyone playing as Sora.
Yep.
Constantly.
He's really fun.
Version 13 update. That is not a coincidence, because in the game Organization 13, Sakurai's a genius.
Wow. I didn't even realize that. That's amazing. Sakurai's playing freaking 7D chess while we're all playing 4D chess.
Yes.
Sora's a lot of fun, honestly. He's definitely, of the DLC characters, he's one of the ones that I go back to play more often. But yeah, he's a lot of fun, honestly.
Is he played by Haley Joel Osment in this game?
That I don't know. I think it's the same voice. I think it's the same voice actor he had in Kingdom Hearts 3. But
so Haley Joel Osment.
Yes.
Maybe. A lot of money there.
One thing I do like about Sora is his floatiness, because it reminds me of like the old school Smashes, like the Smash 64, which is really floaty, so I kind of like the mechanic.
I mean, he can fly.
So he's got a good feel to him.
Tinkerbell gave him the dust.
Exactly. Perfect. Love it. All right, moving on to October 26th, we had the proper reveal of Pikmin Bloom, and not just the reveal, but the actual launch of it in some regions, although it took a few days for it to officially release in North America, though I used my Android ways to get around that and get it early. This is the game that I played, I thought it was cute, and then immediately stopped playing.
Yep.
I didn't touch it beyond a couple days later.
Same.
Yeah,
I uninstalled it. I was like, this is taking up space on my phone. I'm sorry.
Like, it's a cute concept. I love that, growing virtual flowers all around the neighborhood is kind of neat. You can see where people like travel along it, but once you see it, like, there's not much more to it.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you be impressed by a flower growing?
So many times. If you have a lot of serotonin, but.
Yeah, I guess so, maybe. I would love to see the use of stats on this game. Like, I'm sure, like, I feel like it peaked pretty high early on and petered off quick, but maybe I'm totally off base, so.
Yeah.
I better try it
I'm just happy Pikmin... Go ahead.
I better try it quick now that I have a phone again before it goes away.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just happy Pikmin's getting more attention, though. We had Pikmin 3 Deluxe, I think, last year.
Yep.
And now we have a mobile app, which, hopefully this means good things for a Pikmin 4 or some new Pikmin, so...
Hopefully. It is a good sign, I think.
Alright, in case that wasn't enough, we had another game release on October 29th, Mario Party Superstars. The return, Mario Party is back, baby!
Finally.
Yep. You reviewed this one, Tris.
Yep, and this was my game of the year. I was so excited for this game and everything leading up to this game, and then actually having this game. I mean, I have so much time put into it, and I have loved every moment spent with this game. I was actually torn on giving it either what I went with, which is loved, or one up to mind blown, because I was so surprised that this was basically everything we've wanted from Mario Party for more than like 15 years now.
Yeah.
Which felt
online,
impossible.
yeah. Yep, online classic board game action, a ton of fan favorite minigames.
It's fantastic.
As one who grew up with the original series, it was awesome seeing it back, seeing it like given the love that I was hoping it would get for the last decade plus. And it's great to see so many people like enjoying it again, and that we can all enjoy it together now. Like it is like the perfect streaming game because I can not only play with our fan base online, our followers, but it's great that I can engage with the chat during it because of its turn-based nature, so I can just quickly interact with them for most of it, and then I have to look at the screen occasionally to figure out a strategy or win a minigame, not lose. Yeah, it's great. I love it. So I'm so glad it's here, and I hope we get DLC for it.
I really hope we do, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in our 2022 predictions. And
Indeed. All right, on the same day, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity got the second DLC pack. And that's it for the game. Apparently, that marked the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end of things. And this is a complete contrast to how I feel, not just on My Party Superstars, but on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as a whole. Because I loved Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as a game. I thought it had a fantastic story. I thought its gameplay was really good. Really expanded upon what the original Hyrule Warriors did. And then, I'm going to be honest, the DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was kind of a letdown. Both DLC packs, neither one brought enough to, I think, warrant the spreading it out over a year. Like, the second DLC pack came out a few weeks shy of a year of the game originally coming out. And they advertised it as having a new story and such, but it only really added a few story missions that took place in the middle of the story of the game, and they were kind of little random extras. While the gameplay of the new characters were neat, they could have handled it similarly to how they did the original Hyrule Warriors, of just little DLC packs here and there that have a new playable character and some extra levels. The amount of, I guess the push they had for these games, or for the DLC for Age of Calamity, really set expectations differently to what it actually ended up being. And it felt so strange to love the original game so much, but just be outright disappointed by the DLC.
Maybe.
Yeah, Joey. Oh, go ahead, Dom.
Maybe the team, didn't work on it yet, or it's a smaller team, some less experienced people. You never know. Maybe they just didn't have the same resources for the DLC after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play any of the DLC. After I beat the game, I was like, okay, cool, that's done. That wasn't the story of what really happened, but cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something along those lines. Sometimes, and I don't know if this is your issue with it, Triss, at all, but like I feel like oftentimes I'll beat a game like that was great, I enjoyed it, I don't need any more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for the kind of game this was, it didn't need more. Sure, if it was like the original Hyrule Warriors where it had the whole adventure mode and all these extra things, that would have been fine.
Right.
But this game didn't balance around that. They didn't increase the levels with each update. So if you capped out your characters playing through the original game, you didn't really feel incentive to play them, even if they got new weapons, because they're capped out. Normally you would increase the levels so you actually have incentive to play them again, because now I'm not done playing these characters anymore. And they didn't do that, despite characters getting new weapons. And it didn't really need to do extra story. It was neat that they tried to, but all it really gave was one extra cutscene per group of characters. And they didn't really tell you a lot. Like, did we really need to see Urbosa and or did we? I don't know. I guess people still may not have played, so I won't spoil it too much. But did we really need to see two characters interact, laughing at Master Koga? Did we get anything out of that?
Obviously.
I don't know. It's just weird. I didn't feel like it added anything worthwhile. The gameplay of the new characters are fun, but I feel like the effort was put in the wrong place for the DLC.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, with that closing out the game in a disappointing way, so did Dr. Mario World a few days later on November 1st, officially shutting down. The game's over, done with, stick a fork in it, it's dead. Again, Mario can't catch a break this year. Constant death, it's ugly out there. So Triss, you covered the closing of the game by checking out the memories page.
Yep.
How sad, how officially sad were you now?
It really made it sink in just kind of how disappointing it was that they knew that this is it. We're gonna play sad music while you look over your stats for the game. Here's how far you got. Here's how many characters you got. Here's your multiplayer level. I'm like, wow, This is a little like, I don't want to say nostalgic. It's a little melancholic for some reason.
It's like almost rubbing in your face. Look what you used to have, and it's gone now. It's
Exactly.
gone. Well, despite Dr. Mario World being dead, on a couple days later, on November 3rd, a game that is dead, being Super Mario 3D All-Stars, got updated to support the brand new Nintendo 64 controller that was announced. We didn't touch on it earlier, but it was announced as part of the expansion pack. And I love that. I love that this game that Nintendo's no longer even making available is still getting updated to support the new controllers that came out. And that's great. It feels weird playing these games without the proper controller, so I'm glad that they added that feature.
Okay, but doesn't it not work well, or did they fix that?
It worked fine for me in my testing.
I thought the buttons were off. I thought like buttons.
No. So here's what happened. The controller always technically worked. The problem was the button mapping. You could do almost everything except you couldn't punch in the game, which you kind of need. So this update fixed that. It added proper mapping,
Good.
so it officially worked.
Okay, I thought the controller came out after or like something. I thought it came out later than it actually did. So.
Yeah, so luckily it works great. So the only thing we're missing now is official Wii Remote support for Mario Galaxy.
Next year.
Which they could.
Next year.
Yeah, I hope so. They could add it because the Wii Remote is Bluetooth, so they could technically support it.
Well, that would be interesting.
Could they add Mario Galaxy 2 while they're at it?
Oh my god. Yes, please do it, Nintendo. That'd be amazing. All right, just a couple days later after that, the official Animal Crossing New Horizons 2.0 update came out alongside Happy Home Paradise. So that definitely got a lot of people back into the game, as we touched on earlier. And I think TJ was the one who reviewed Happy Home Paradise for us, as I recall. And
I think
no, it was Patrick. I'm sorry.
Patrick, okay.
Patrick covered it, and I think they really ended up enjoying it. I streamed it. I covered it on stream. I had never played Happy Home Designer before, so I didn't fully understand how the game worked. So what happened is, initially, they ask you to unbox these 3 boxes, and then like you can start moving the stuff around decorating. But I just immediately talked to the character after unboxing. They're like, "Hey, are you done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done. Sure, why not?" And they're like, "Oh, I love it. Great job!" Like, I just literally opened your boxes. So I didn't realize that that's basically the point of the game. Like, there is no actual gameplay here beyond what gameplay you create yourself.
Yep.
The characters don't care what you do with the house. It's all about using your imagination. And once I leaned into that, I'm like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool." You know, like they made this like really nice forest area, has some nice fountains, and it's a pleasant experience overall. So.
Yeah. No, it's really nice. The things in the boxes, they just want you to use those 3 things minimum. That's it. And it really is about really flexing your creativity to see what you can come up with.
Right. Yeah, that's neat. It's a little bit Minecrafty in that way. So next, on the same day, we had the official release of the Nintendo 64 Switch, the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, adding support for 64 games and Sega Genesis games. I did a whole stream of it covering a whole bunch of N64 games, and it was cool. It was neat revisiting those games. I'm a big 64 fan. I grew up in the era, of course, and most of them look better than they have in quite some time in pseudo HD or being upscaled to HD or whatever it is, or rendered in HD, I should say. So yeah, I know a lot of people were upset about the price, but once you get past it, there's some cool stuff that you can play there.
I did the comparison on them, and I was surprised to find out that the 3D All-Stars version of Mario 64's audio is horribly compressed on that thing. Wow.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
The audio sounds so much clearer on the Nintendo Switch Online version. Very strange. That's like, what?
That's very what? Yeah, hopefully they patch that in, patching the better audio from the 64 Online version.
I wonder if that's a cartridge limitation, or trying to fit it all into the game data and having to compress it.
I'm not sure.
Very strange.
Yeah, I have no idea. All right, next up, about a week later on November 11th, Twitch was randomly added to the Switch. Twitch on Switch, baby. Now, this doesn't mean you can stream to Twitch from the Switch, but you can watch Twitch on your Switch. So thereby adding yet another platform that isn't Netflix to the Switch.
Yep,
So,
there you go.
we
I can't wait till Sony Crackle gets added. I think, I don't see it on the document here, but didn't Grand Theft Auto, the definitive Trilogy edition, get? Okay.
It's here.
It's here? I don't see it.
It just says GTA under
11, GTA.
You see, my doc didn't get updated, so...
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm on my phone, I'm not on my...
That's why,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, continue, Joey. You streamed that first.
I did. I streamed on PS5, though. I did the video...
It came out earlier on PS5,
It did.
Right?
Very weird how it didn't release on every platform at the same time. So strange.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I played the PS5 versions of... I don't know if I did all 3. I think I just did one in San Andreas. But I didn't run into any huge problems except for a wall that was walk through. Like I could just drive through a wall, and the
collisions.
Very strange stuff. These games broken as heck. Like,
oh, yeah.
Wow, they totally just shamelessly released these games that weren't ready just to get some holiday money, and like, shame on you, Rockstar, for that. That was awful.
That's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing.
Yeah. Like, this is their like legacy property. Like, people love GTA. You know, like, how can you screw up this? Nintendo gives more care to their HD remasters that haven't sold anywhere near as well as the Grand Theft Auto series.
Exactly.
And it's baffling. Like, it's just not a good way to engender goodwill. I don't know why they released them in this half-finished state. So
exactly. Now I'm not going to buy their PS5 port that's fully priced of GTA 5.
There we go. See?
I think
there you go, Rockstar.
They did have a statement later, but like, why at that point? Like, I guess you think maybe it's going to make it. Maybe those bugs get fixed, or there'll be a day one patch, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know. Like, I don't know if these executives are how deep into checking the game they are, and like why they just let it go ahead like this. It's disappointing.
Yeah, kind of on that note, I've been watching the fantastic Xbox documentary they released just about a week or so ago.
Oh, that's so
celebrating.
Good. That is
From
such
really
a good
great
documentary.
And they chronicle the making of the Xbox along with some of the games like Halo, and how like the execs, I think for Halo 2 actually, I think it's Halo 2. They originally want to push out of the door like on this tight release date, and they were sticking to their guns until finally they were convinced that no, we gotta delay this game because it's not finished, and which of course happened again more recently with Halo Infinite. But it's like, in another world, what would have happened had that not been delayed? You know, we've had this broken game like GTA Definitive Edition, and it can damage our reputation and the strength of the series.
Exactly.
So.
And they still cut like the final mission from Halo 2.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They cut a lot.
Yep.
So.
I was playing that again recently with my friend, and it's like, did we beat the game? And we went back and played the last mission again. It's like, yeah, there are credits this time. We actually did beat it. Like,
all right. Well, getting back to the year that's 2021, on November 12th, we had a new release in Shin Megami Tensei 5 releasing on Switch, which our reviewer, Patrick, I believe, he loved it. So...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this.
Did anyone else here play it at all?
Not yet.
No, the type of games don't really appeal. They don't appeal to me. So I
want to finish SMT 3 first.
Yeah, it's a long game, so you need a lot of time to fit that one in.
Yeah.
But on the same day, we also had the release. I do have it. The Legend of Zelda Game & Watch, baby, right here. It won't show up properly because of my green screen.
See through. You got the transparent.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that technology. Wow, is that cool?
what magic materials is this?
So this thing is pretty darn neat, I have to say. I actually like it more, I think, than the Mario one. It just has like deeper, I would say, games that hold up arguably better in some cases. It has 3 of them, no less, including the Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, and Link's Awakening. It's got some key bonus features on there as well. Just really neat to be able to play them on the go in a form factor like this. So yeah, I think it's it's just a neat little device that is available now. So
very cool.
Anyone else gonna pick it up or
planning on it? I think I want to.
I'm torn. It's like I want to, but
it might never be on sale. But we'll see.
That's true.
Playing multiple regions, I mean, especially for Zelda 2, that's an intriguing factor.
That's cool. It's especially with how different the other region versions are, like
and the music.
The original Legend of Zelda having better audio, exactly. A few other tweaks, gameplay tweaks, and stuff like that. So it's neat that we can play those officially on this. All right, next. November 17th, we got another Mario Kart Live, got another random update, adding, for the 2.0 update, adding new characters, new tracks, new karts. It was really impressive update, especially because one of the tracks is like a Moo Moo Farm type, and I love Moo Moo Farm. Moo Moo Meadows is the best track Mario Kart's ever made. So seeing any version of that recreated here is perfect to me, and it's smart timing too to get it out there in front of people before the holidays, which it could be a big holiday title, so yeah, I think it was just a neat update to put out there.
This was a multiplayer one, right? Like you can have 2 attached to one.
Right? Added a double dash like mode. How can I forget? Yes, where you and a friend can race together in the same kart with one person driving, the other person gunning effectively, even though you're one character. And then every track or every lap you swap. So the other person starts driving and the other person starts shooting. It's really neat.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It also added a split screen mode too, I believe, if you have 2 carts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Pretty neat. So if you like Mario Kart multiplayer, maybe check it out. So, all right, a couple days after that, on November 19th, we got the release of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So yeah, a lot of gaming stuff happening this month for Nintendo, and this was a pretty big game. Tris, you reviewed it.
Yes.
What did you think?
These were such good faithful remakes. And I know some people were upset by that fact, but I mean, you had,
with how faithful they are.
Yeah, I mean, you have Pokemon Legends coming out soon. These games are challenging though. Like, I don't remember Gen 4 being this hard originally. Like the different attempts being made at the Elite Four and the Champion. I mean, I was stuck there for a while. Like, it's difficult, but it's really fun, honestly. And I think having these games be the core experience that they are is great because it balances really nicely with Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee being an easier experience to introduce Pokemon Go players to the main series. Sword and Shield, which is your next mainline Pokemon game that is there for everyone. And then you have these, the faithful remakes of Diamond and Pearl that are more so meant to appeal to people who didn't get to experience them. Well, people who got to experience it before because it's pretty accurate, but also that lets people experience them for the first time faithfully. And they kept the challenge of them that was there before. And even though they added new things, like the experience share changes, they balanced it accordingly. And I think it made for a really great experience, honestly.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think it's appealing to people for different reasons, as you kind of touched on. Like it's a new way of re-experiencing a classic game people grew up with, and for those who missed it originally, who may not have been born then, this seems to be a great way of visiting a faithful version of it with only a few minor changes that some might say really affected overall like the experience share, but I think definitely makes it more welcoming to new people than the original. So. All right, well, in case we haven't had enough updates for the month, on November 23rd, Mario Golf Super Rush got the final free update with version 4.0, adding 2 entirely new courses, I believe, of 18 holes each, along with Wiggler and Shy Guy, both of which are fantastic. Wiggler looks hilarious out there, especially with how he gets angry during a run, and the Shy Guy is just always majestic, no matter what Shy Guy's doing. Always. I love him, so I'm glad Shy Guy's finally here. Have you played the DLC much, Tris?
I haven't had a chance to jump into this one too much. I did a little bit just to kind of test them all out. It's honestly really fun, though. And it makes me wonder if this means, when they say final free update, it makes me wonder if there'll be some sort of paid updates, or if this is just it.
Oh, I think they would have said final update if they weren't planning more. So I think when they say free, I think that means that there's probably more coming. That's going to be a paid expansion, which I think would tie into, I'd hope, the expansion pack. So being free for some people, but not free for everyone.
Oh, I would hope so. Totally. We should see more expansions come to the expansion pack. So
yes,
make that $50 worth it, man. Because right now, don't know about it.
It's like, I'm sorry, Joey, it's an expansion pack. It's not an expansions pack.
You got me there, Tom.
That's how they get you. Got to read the fine print. I will say, I think it was a good update. It also added a new mode too. A couple new modes actually we didn't touch on. And the target one is actually really fun, so I'm glad they added that. The new courses, I really enjoy the non-Mario one. I forget what it's called, but I think the Mario one is a little lame, at least for Super Rush mode. I haven't tried the standard golf with it, where it might work better. But it's neat. It's a neat looking course all the same, so it's cool, again, that it's free, so yeah. All right, that's it for November. We're moving on to the final month of the year, everyone, December. And on December 1st, yes, we're starting off with a big one, kind of, in the form of a new update for Smash being 13.0.1, which is the Final Fighter adjustment. So this is kind of a big deal. This you could almost say is officially the end of Smash, I think, in terms of somewhat big updates, because this is a Final Fighter adjustment. From this point on, barring a major problem that they discover, which I don't think they will, is they're locking the characters in stone, which is kind of big, because now the meta can finally evolve from this point. Like now, it's basically how Smash Melee has always been, where it never changed from release. Now Smash can finally lock in what it is, and the meta can start evolving from this point. And it'll be fun to see what new developments come of it, now that the characters are never going to be changing again.
Yeah, about time for a new Smash Bros. Game.
That's right, Smash Ultimate 2, baby.
Yes.
More Ultimate. More Smash, more Ultimate.
How do you go from there? Where do you go from Ultimate?
You don't. Yeah.
I think just re-release Ultimate every year for every console. Not every year, every console generation.
I mean, I feel like at some point they should make a special like DLC version. Like, here's the Ultimate form of Smash Ultimate. You know, with all the DLC included, and like release that around the holidays or something. So
I can see that happening. Especially maybe like a year from now or something. Maybe, you know, I think it would be really neat if they did that and then it gets bundled with a random Smash Series amiibo.
Yeah, there you go. A brand new Smash one somehow. Mm-hmm. A Smash logo amiibo.
Sakurai amiibo.
Yeah, hey, that'd be neat. All right, a few days later, on December 6th, it was announced that Pokemon Unite has passed 50 million downloads, which is a ridiculous amount. That is a stupid amount. That's more than any single Switch game has sold by itself. Mm-hmm. Of course, it is free, so that makes sense. But still, that is a ton of people playing, at least downloading Pokemon Unite to check it out.
Pokemon is the most profitable franchise on Earth.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I think we're forgetting something. We're forgetting a game release, which I think came out on December 3rd, if I remember correctly.
We are! Tris, what is this? The biggest game of the year, obviously. Joe, you want to say what it is?
Big Brian Academy. Brian versus Brian.
Yep, the game is doing its job, clearly.
Yeah, it is. I feel so much smarter.
Yeah.
That's a game. It was fine. I didn't really think it was... $30. For one, it's only a $30 game, so that's good. They priced it reasonably. But even though the games are fun, they don't have much replay value. I think there's only 20 of them, and it's all about getting testing your brain with these mini games, and yeah, very average game. Nothing too crazy. It's the multiplayer stuff was okay. Local multiplayer was kind of stressful because there's just so much going on screen that, and people need to learn how to play these games even if there is a tutorial. It's a very okay game. I would give it the award of the most okay Switch game of 2021.
Yeah, it to me, I haven't played it much beyond the demo, which I didn't think was a particularly great demo. I just don't quite see the appeal. Like, if I'm playing a multiplayer game, I want to play a game that is more fun than counting numbers and things of that nature, or like figuring out these puzzles. But even then, too, like, I don't want to feel like an idiot in front of my friends, right? Like, does anyone want to feel like a complete moron in front of their friends? Like, if you fail at a game completely, it's like, oh, that's embarrassing.
Mario Party does that enough.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo, right. As people know from my streams, clearly enough. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it sells. I can't imagine it's going to do gangbusters, but also I can't imagine having much of a big budget either. So
they had a big marketing budget. I mean, you get like actors and stuff playing the game commercials.
That's true.
So.
That's true, actually. That's a good point. They did sink some money into marketing. So, I mean, it could be big. It is like one of those possible like DS-era touch generation evergreen titles, maybe. So
I've seen the YouTube views. I don't know.
There's a reason why we put Sinbad in the thumbnail.
Yes, absolutely. Because he's got a bigger brain.
Yes, he does. From the Holiday Classic jingle all the way, baby. So good.
Gotta watch that. Coming up soon.
It's on Netflix now, right?
Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus now.
Disney Plus, yeah. All right, it's worth getting Disney Plus just for that. All right, December 8th, Sakurai was interviewed by several outlets talking about Smash's completion and the unsure future of Smash, in which I think he tried to imagine a future without him at the helm, among other things. So this kind of puts this is the punctuation point on the end of Smash Ultimate being done. So Tris, I think did you cover these interviews?
Yeah. So basically, it was a lot of things that we already seen from Sakurai talking about in like his Famitsu columns, which also ended a little bit earlier this year, or a little while back. And it was really Sakurai talking about how the way Smash is, it has a lot of him put into it, and if it was to continue the same way, he doesn't know if it would be able to do so unless he came back for it, and doesn't really have any plans to do that right now. If there is a future Smash game and they don't make significant changes to the way it's managed and handled, then they might need to bring Sakurai back in, and if they do, then he'll do it, but he's not looking to do that particularly right now. He is thinking about relaxing rather than thinking about Smash. Finally.
That's good. He needs to think about something else. That man.
He's It Takes Two solo streamer now.
Yeah, he tweeted about that at the Game Awards, where he's like, "Oh, you could play It Takes Two," and it was him with the hand on each controller, just like he did for Smash before.
Gosh.
But one of the most interesting points that come out of this interview to me isn't actually the comments about Smash. And I remember talking with Tom about this originally. It's the fact that Sakurai has more free time now than he ever had in the game while working in the game industry. That's more than like 25 years. In over 25 years, he has more free time now than he's had before. That's a really long time.
It is. Yeah, the guy works himself probably a little too hard, I would say. So I hope he enjoys his time off, and I hope he uses this time to like recollect himself, reinvigorate himself, and assess what he wants to do next as his next project.
And he may not even stay in the game industry. He said too. Like
that's true.
He may look to do something.
I wouldn't blame him for leaving.
He may look to do something else in the game industry, like keeping his options open to see what he wants to do. But he doesn't know if he'll fully make games next.
He should just be the voice of DDD for the rest of his career. That's it.
Yes.
I think I even mentioned in the update too. It would be interesting to see him take on positions like Reggie has, where like other sort of like mentorship kind of roles, advisory roles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that Sakurai's not a Nintendo employee. He just does a lot of Nintendo projects, but he's or at least one Nintendo project. But yeah, he's not. He's got his own company, so he can do whatever he wants. So.
Meteos 2.
Yes, make it happen.
Like I said, Kid Icarus 2. Don't know if any of you heard that.
But that's the shocking thing about this. Like, he might not even direct a game again, which is like, we wanted to make something else. He might not even do that. So it's going to be interesting. But take a break.
All right.
You deserve it.
Moving on December 9th, we had the Game Awards 2021, which was a very brisk 4-hour show. Ooh. So fast. I flew by.
Just like Sonic.
And Nintendo was... Yes, exactly. And strangely enough, for the first time ever, Nintendo wasn't there, really, at least. I mean, Doug Bowser was there. He gave he presented one of the awards, I believe.
No, he accepted.
He accepted. That was it. Accepted for Metroid Dread. They won a Best Action Adventure for Metroid Dread. Lost Game of the Year though, unfortunately, and they had no reveals at the show at all.
They lost
which I think is
Family Game.
They lost their own category essentially. Best Family Game to a game that isn't even a good family game.
Nope.
So it's a good game, just not a great family game.
It's about divorce, guys. Weird. Families get divorced. Therefore, it's a family game.
But on the upside, Metroid Dread at least did win an award, if not the award everyone or a lot of people were hoping for. But in better news, we did get official announcements of the first trailer of the Sonic Movie 2, which looks amazing. It looks so good. I'm actually avoiding watching it more than once, but I want to go in the movie fresh. I've already forgotten most of it. And we also got the premiere of Sonic Frontiers, the first actual full-length-ish trailer for the game. We still don't really know how it plays, but we saw more of the world at least.
I don't know what Sega's doing. Like, dude, just quit teasing us like this. It's not fun.
No.
Yeah. They could have had at least a little snippet of gameplay in there.
That would have been nice. Just give us a little something so we have something to go off of for how it actually plays. We do see Sonic a little bit in the environment itself, but didn't offer much of a clue as to what's actually happening there.
No.
But it is coming this year, about a year from now.
Yeah,
so. About a year.
And I'm just like, Sega, you can tease us like this if your last game was good.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, on this day, there was some sadder news, being the creator of the NES and Super NES. Can anyone help me pronounce this?
Masayuki Uemura.
Thank you. They passed away. So this is someone who was instrumental in the creation of those first two Nintendo platforms, first two Nintendo consoles. Passed away. I imagine at a very old age, I suspect. I forget the exact age. I think 90s, was it?
Oh, actually, I think it was like 78.
Yeah, I remember 78.
Jeez.
I think he did the light gun zapper too.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's an unfortunate way to start wrapping up the year here. So we're going to move on to happier news. Being the next day, on December 10th, Paper Mario came to Nintendo Switch Online. Yes, a classic game on its 20th anniversary, as it kind of touched on in part 1. It's so good. You need to play it if you have the expansion pack because it really holds up. It's a great game, and especially if you're a Thousand Year Door fan and you somehow never played the original, check it out. It's the closest game to Thousand Year Door you're probably ever going to get. So
I have a whole video on 64 reasons to play it. However you choose to play it, 64 reasons to do so. It's fun, quirky, quick video I did. It's honestly a lot of fun. Check it out.
Yep, check it out for sure. Is anyone else going to check it out here?
I have to at some point. I started a save file of the game on Wii U like a year back, but now I can play it on a better emulator. So there you go.
I have to finish it at some point. I own the N64 one, but I never finished it. So.
Oh, you definitely need to then.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on. Actually, I never made this connection before. On December 13th, we had 2 Pocket releases.
Double Pocket.
First up is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon being released on Nintendo Switch. Tom, you covered this game, right?
Yep.
You're a big fan.
I covered it as a great new entry into the Falling Block universe of games. It's far deeper than any other Falling Block game. It does take some getting used to, though, but once I did, though, it's a very easy game to go like, oh, just one more, but they take like 30 minutes sometimes to go through a run, so very addictive once you get into it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looked fun, if not complicated. So I'll have to play that sometime with you. The other Pocket-related announcement that came, or a Pocket-related thing that came out that day, was the Analogue Pocket. Not a Nintendo product, but it might as well be, considering it is basically an ultra form of the Game Boy. It plays every Game Boy game known to man, plays even beyond that, including Game Gear games with the adapter. I've got Donkey Kong 94 in there right now, a great game. And they just announced today, to us actually, they confirmed that Super Game Boy support is coming to this.
Oh, wow.
So Super Game Boy features are you can take advantage of now on the Analogue Pocket. An amazing, amazing device. Probably my favorite device actually is my favorite device of the year. More so than the Switch OLED. So big fan of this. Unfortunately, I think it's at a point now where if you order it now, you're not gonna get to 2023, which sucks.
Wow.
But if you're able to get it somehow, I highly recommend it, even if it is a year out.
Out of all the hardware that's delayed, like SteamDeck, Playdate, I mean, this one, just listening to your review and stuff, it sounded pretty amazing, and the general overall feedback of it.
Yeah, because it lets you play these games like never before. The screen is a higher resolution than even the iPhone in terms of pixels per inch. The games have never looked better, and the screen's bigger than the classic Game Boy. So, it's just really fun to revisit these games in a whole new way, or being able to see them now for the first time ever, basically. And it's great. I love the product. So I don't think I've ever been this excited for hardware since I was a kid. So it's been nice to see. All right, and this is coming in hot off the presses, at least the day we're recording this, being December 17th. Nintendo Minute is coming to an end. The long-running Nintendo series on Nintendo's YouTube channel featuring Kit and Krista, both friends of mine. They are great people. I see them fairly frequently at Nintendo events, or at least did before the pandemic. The show is unfortunately coming to an end. I don't fully know why. I don't know if they said why. I haven't seen the final episode yet. But that is a meaningful thing that comes to an end. Yeah. It's something that I know a lot of people cared about, so it's a little sad that it's over.
Yeah, they've been running that for 8 years. According to the post, they did more than 400 episodes of it, and they're ending it now. And I'm really curious what the two of them will go on to do. I'm sure they're still staying at Nintendo, but I'm curious what they'll do now, because I remember before Nintendo Minute, or at least before Nintendo Minute was a big thing they did, Krista used to do she was almost like a newscaster for Nintendo at E3. She would kind of go around and talk to different developers about what was going on at E3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so I wonder what the two of them will end up doing, because Nintendo Minute was such a big thing for Nintendo's marketing for quite some time.
Yeah.
I imagine it was pretty difficult through the pandemic and all, and I wonder if that might be a factor in it all. But
that's a good one. That could be a factor.
Yeah,
Joey, I saw you were torn up there, Joey, so
I've honestly never really watched Nintendo Minute that much, but they're way longer than a minute, so it's like happy hour. It's always like 3 hours long, you know.
I've been to a few of the events that they did in person too, which are pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've met Kit and Krista before. Super great people. Yeah. I actually went to a private demo event. I think actually, Andre, I saw you there too. I've seen you everywhere.
Everywhere.
But, when we played Samus Returns at the San Francisco office.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, I actually do remember seeing you that day. Yeah. I think, were you coming in as I was leaving? I think.
you were leaving. I was sitting down on the couch waiting for
I think I remember
That's
that.
so funny, right? It's like it was meant to be. Anyway, yeah, she was.
Our paths across so many times.
Yeah, she was there during the private demo session. I hope. I don't know if this means like they're leaving Nintendo or something. I'm sure they have other roles beyond Nintendo Minute there. So yeah. I hope everything's all right. I haven't watched the video, their farewell video, so I'm gonna have to do that after this discussion's over.
Yeah.
It'll probably be clarified by the time people are watching this video. So.
Hopefully. It's been a fun run though. Like obviously there's been silly, weird videos. I mean, we even talked about Nintendo Minute in the previous half of this discussion with the Waluigi render. But I mean, I mentioned I did some of the events. They used to run at PAX East and other events. They would go and run like little panels or events. I did back when they were promoting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like technically around the time the Switch came out. They were like inviting people up to play Mario Kart battle mode with them, which was a bunch of fun. I'm happy I got to do that. They also did one for Smash Bros, where you just kind of get to go up and play Smash. I also got on for that one, which is exciting. It was like a little like wheel, and you had to pick like which, or like the wheel picks like certain settings. Like we can only use heavy characters. So I used at the time, my husband is a Bowser player, so I used all my knowledge of watching him play endless amounts of Bowser to win that round. 2020 they did like a showcase of the aquarium and other things in Animal Crossing, because that was Nintendo's big presence there. They also did, and this is the last one that I have. I'm just thinking of. I'm thinking of good times of events they did beyond just Nintendo Minute itself. They hosted a Smash tournament before Ultimate actually released at Nintendo New York, and I was lucky enough to get into that, and that was actually really fun because it was you got to play the same demo. I think it was the same demo from back at E3 for Smash Ultimate. But it was like a really big part of the hype cycle for me and others, where we got to play it early that way, and it was just a big fun event.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, so it's a long running thing coming to an end. I mean, they've been around for most of GameXplain's life.
Yeah.
So it's a substantial period of time. Unfortunately, if anything happened after December 17th, we're not going to know about it because we recorded this video a little bit early. I'm going to assume nothing happened. Hopefully the world's still around by the time
Can't believe Half-Life 3 is coming to Switch.
Oh my god, finally.
The Waluigi game, amazing.
Actually, Waluigi is in Half-Life 3. Didn't you know about that? Right. And there you have it, everyone. That is Nintendo's year in review. Quite a bit happened in 2021, especially compared to 2020. So now that we've gone over all of it, what do we think of looking back upon 2021? Do you feel any differently now than you did at the beginning of this discussion? Were you surprised by some of the things that happened nearly a year ago at this point? Let's start off with you, Joey. What did you think of the year?
Metroid Dread came out, so I'm a little biased here. But if we're talking just overall, I do think like this wasn't Nintendo's best Switch year by a long shot, but it was better than last year. Don't know if it was better than 2019. 2019 was also a really stacked year, but of course nothing has topped 2017 yet.
How about you, Tris?
It's tough because Mario, like Joey, Mario Party is such a standout title to me, and 3D World also. They're super standout titles to me that are super meaningful to me. They're super meaningful to me as great Switch experiences, and I would say this was a fantastic year for the Switch. But I also look back and say, well, I feel like I said that in 2019, and I definitely said that in 2020, so it's, I don't know comparatively if I can say it's definitively better, but I think the great releases the Switch had this year helped turn around the rough first half of the year that I had personally. I had personal things happen that got better in the second half of the year as well, but the constant stream of like really great Switch releases also helped keep me in a positive mood during all that too.
How about you, Tom?
I think it's just a great year in a different way than normal. So with some smaller titles like golf kind of being shown more, and of course like Joey, Metroid, you get a Metroid game, I can't complain. And it laid the groundwork for some bigger titles to come next year, like Legends and possibly Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3 maybe.
And we'll be touching on all of those more soon in our 2022 discussion. But yeah, for myself, I actually think it was a really good year. Especially if you're a Mario fan. We start off with the Bowser's Fury. We ended with Mario Party Superstars. In between the two, there's a ton of Mario Golf DLC and Mario Kart Live DLC, and then also Kamek coming to Mario Kart Tour. So yeah, and then they had smaller releases in between that too, including some we never expected, like the Fire Emblem re-release on Switch, Famicom Detective Club. So yeah, lots of just. I think this was overall like a good year. Yeah, not every game was like a AAA hitter, not that they ever could be, but I think, and of course Metroid Dread as well, as Joey already touched on quite well. So yeah, I think actually I would say this is probably one of the stronger years for me, for Switch at least. Not my favorite year, that'd probably still be 2017 as well, but it was a really good year, very much enjoyed it, and it makes me excited for what's coming up in the future. And on that note, that will be what's coming next, everyone, where we discuss our hopes and predictions for Nintendo in 2022, where we discuss everything that we know and everything we don't know as we look forward to Nintendo in the new year. So with that, thank you for watching, everyone. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course stay tuned for our 2022 discussion. We'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.